Hello, welcome back to another video from Average FPL. Just wanted to start by apologising for the volume quality in the last video. I'm aware it was quite quiet. Some of you probably prefer it that way, and that way you can't hear my opinions. But yeah, still trying to tweak with the quality of the videos and things like that. Still new to it, so appreciate the patience and support with it. Also, just thank you for people that are leaving bits of advice. I do always read those comments and appreciate them. So thank you for that. And so what we're going to do today is we're just going to have a little preview of Game Week 10. I've got my final team here on the screen of what I'm going to go with, unless there's any late changes that I might make. I actually made a couple of changes from the final wildcard team from the last video, looking at advice from different people, and I actually took out Mbuemo, just in case the injury's any worse than what I thought it might be. And I've swapped him for Brownhill, so he's a 4.4 million midfielder, and but he plays every week, so he's a solid 2 points if I need him. And I got in Hwang Hee-chan from Wolves as well. And one of the wild cards I was looking at was Jimenez for Wolves, and Hwang Hee-chan's a cheaper option, and he's been playing regularly as well. And I do quite like Wolves' fixtures coming up. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but they've got some good games, which I'd like to think they can do well in. Okay, so yeah, just looking at the team as it is, this will be the default lineup. The bench hasn't got lots of good players on it, but they've got players that are going to play. Foster in goal this week, Southampton at home. Feel like that's a good fixture for him, and he could actually keep a clean sheet this week, hopefully. Chilwell, Newcastle away, Alexander Arnold, Brighton at home, and Henry, Burnley away. I think they're all good fixtures as well. I'd like to think that I could get at least two clean sheets out of those fixtures. Probably for Chelsea and Liverpool, with Brentford's defence being pretty solid. So there's a chance as well there, which would be good. Obvious captain is Salah. Um, Brighton at home, just like Trent, and I feel like Salah's on such good form. I think the risk of not captaining him and him doing well is more important than actually looking at the upside from him. That fear of missing out, that if you don't captain him, other people do. He's nearly 70% owned now. I am still not sure why he's not 100% owned. I would think you'd have to be you know not concentrating on what you're doing to not have him in really. So yeah, it was Son, Mount, and De Bruyne. I like those fixtures. I think Man United, that'll be a super interesting game, Spurs Man United, just to see how Man United react. And if it's anything like last week, you'd fancy Son to get a couple of returns there at least. And yeah, Chelsea play Newcastle, De Bruyne plays Crystal Palace. I think they're great fixtures as well. Now the strikers, I know they're not like the top premium strikers, but they've allowed me to get in the midfield that I've got. And I also think, I spoke about Hwang. I think he's got the potential to score a couple. I think Timo Pukki, no, I know it's Norwich. I think their fixtures are just too good to pass up. And I also think, it's a free hit on a wild card here. I've got him in. It's not cost me any points or anything. And I just think if after these fixtures or in a couple of game weeks, it just doesn't look like he's going to score, I'll just take him out and put Davis back in as the cheapest one, and that'll give me, I think it's about 1.5 million to spend on the rest of the squad there. So I am prepared to continue make changes on this wild card. I'm not saying, oh, this is my team and I should stick with it and see how it goes. Like I want to be more proactive with making these transfers. Like that's why I took Mbuemo out as well, rather than sort of wait and see. Let's work with what we've got here and what we know. And then Ivan Toney again. Brentford's fixtures look great as well. It would have been even better if Mbuemo had been fit, but he's probably not. And I think Ivan Toney on pens, he's an obvious choice as well. In terms of the bench, I would like to have a playing keeper. I think I quite like to get rid of the bench boost quite early on in the season, because I think it just creates more problems really, because you're constantly thinking of your bench, and in reality you don't use your bench that much. You don't tend to use your sub keeper, because if your keeper plays, he's going to be in, and you don't often use your third defender, third substitute on the outfield as well, which is why they're all three cheap players, but they all play. They've been playing 90 minutes recently. I think Loughton and Brownhill haven't missed a minute all season so far, so they're safe options and they're cheap as well. So yeah, if I wasn't captaining anyone on this team, I think maybe there's not really that many good options. You might look at having a stab at Leeds away at Norwich maybe, but I feel like all the obvious captaincy options are wound up in Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool this week. I think Chelsea strikers they're not there, so I think if you wanted to captain Mason Mount, I think that wouldn't be a bad option. Likewise, if you wanted to captain De Bruyne, I think that's a good option as well. But I just think if you've got a Liverpool, attacker, especially Salah, in your team, you should really captain Salah instead. So yeah, that's my team going forward. I'm quite happy with it. I'm going to have a look at a couple more options as well before the deadline. But I just think if I don't really need to make many changes. They've all got good fixtures coming up. The ones that have sometimes got a bad game week, I've got the strength and depth there just to rotate. And yeah, thank you very much for listening. I hope the audio is better on this one. Like I said, appreciate all the feedback. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good game week. Thank you very much for listening. I'll see you in the next one.